During this time, I would say the time at WNBC certainly had to be, in my opinion, the great part of your career. You started this relationship with Johnny Carson. How did this happen?
Well, NBC was the key station and the key network, and I fell into it. And I managed to stay going, I thought, pretty well for the first year and the second year. And then, for whatever reason, Johnny Carson, at the time, would tape his program at around 5 o'clock. And it was an hour and a half, and then we would follow at 6:30 with the local news in the city. And one day, one of the cameramen came down and said, "Hey, Frank, what's Johnny Carson got in for you? Why does he like you?" And I said, "I don't even know him. I love him." I try to rush home to watch him do his monologue at 11 o'clock, at 11:30, right after the 11 o'clock news on which I was performing. And I said, I don't even know him. Why do you say that?" And he said, "Well, he made some funny remark about you being on the roof dancing in an Indian outfit, to wah, 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 doing the weather or something." And I said, "No, he didn't. You just put me on." He said, "No." So when he finished the news that day, at 11:30, I went directly to my office, and I didn't rush home as I usually do. Put on the TV set, and sure enough, Johnny Carson made some derogatory remark and called me the crack meteorologist. We said that we'd have a flood of lava in the harbor, or whatever. I forget what it was at that time. But once he started making that crack, I sat there and wondered, and I was a little upset. I said, "Why is he picking on me?" Not realizing that this was a gold mine. He was putting me on the network, national, mentioning my name. And so he started, and I said, "I'm going to keep quiet." And the very next week, he brought it up again. And one of the cameramen who came down after shooting the Tonight Show, did the news show, came down and said, "Well, he did it again." And I said, "What did he say this time?" He said, "You were the lookout at Pearl Harbor. That was your previous job," which got a tremendous laugh from the audience as I watched it. And at the time, I said, "You know what? He's turning me into a second banana, and I got to get back at him." And what I did was, after he did that for several weeks, I became bombastic, what was that fellow's name? Bushkin, his lawyer, or Ed being the drunk, or I became one of his creatures. And every time he'd get on and say, "Well, NBC's crack meteorologist predicted something or other that was hilarious," I thought, I got to get back at him. So in those days, you must appreciate, there was no humor in the news. Walter Cronkite could not appear on a Carson show. Douglas Edwards couldn't appear on a Carson show because NBC, or Huntley and Brinkley couldn't appear on a Carson show because they were newsmen. And NBC said to me, "You're a newsman and you cannot appear on the Carson show." And I said, "Of course not." And one day I get a call from Ed DeCordova, I think. DeCordova was his name, wasn't it? You're a fan of...
Yeah, he was the producer.
Yeah, he was the producer. He called and said the catcher for the St. Louis Browns, he did sports on the air at Giardella or...
Garagiola.
Garagiola, you got it. Mike, how old are you?
33.
You should know about them. Listen, there are kids out there that come up and they don't know who Johnny Carson is or any of the other old timers. I'm surprised. Well, at any rate, they said he's not showing up and we want you to come on the broadcast. And I did, and they dumped water on me, and I have a sense of humor, and I took it. And after that, I became the butt of Johnny's joke, and we became pretty good friends. He was a lovely guy, and with me, he was a prince.